And today I'm having such a lot of trouble getting this live going. So I'm happy that I'm on, but we'll see how long I could stay on. I have some construction going on in the back of me in my kitchen. So that fan you're hearing, we had a leak. And if you have ever dealt with home ownership, you know it comes with issues that come when you're least expecting it. So I apologize now, and I will continue to apologize throughout this live for the noise, the background noise. But I wanted to still jump on here and do our thing. We are making high protein waffles for dinner tonight. And I'm excited because one, who says that waffles are only a breakfast thing? We're going to make those for tonight, and we're going to also make have enough to me to take for breakfast tomorrow. And I have some leftovers from yesterday that I'll take for lunch tomorrow. So I'm going to be covered. But if you're hearing that background noise, let me know if it's too distracting and if I need to like cut it tonight because I'm distracted by it. But this is what happens when, home ownership comes with those times where things are just going to break when you least expect it. And on top of it, right as I'm ready to start, my tripod breaks. So I'm working with a little mini tripod today. So hopefully that does not impact things too much. But let me know if you can hear me okay and if it's fine. Okay, ma'am, it's fine. All right, well, we're talking high protein waffles. And let me know if you've made these before. Actually, I know that there are a lot of companies now that sell, if you could just buy the mix, but I wanted to try this for myself from scratch and do a nice breakfast for dinner kind of thing. And so I'm going to show you how I'm making it. And it's going to be a test with me because I've never made it this way. So it's definitely test with me. But that's how you do things, right? You have an idea and you know what you want from it. In this case, I want it to be high protein because that's what we're working on. Before I jump into the recipe and the meal, it's about high protein for me. I've been focused on my diet because I'm focused on losing weight, and I'm focused on losing weight quickly, to be honest with you. And so the high protein meals have definitely been killing the game, oh, can you do that upstairs, please? Thanks. More so than my all the other things that I could be doing, like working out and stuff, which I am doing that. But for me, it is definitely a matter of just actually working out and absolutely eating the diet that's working. Can I be mod? I liked and sub. Hi, Lev. Thank you. Actually, I don't need a mod right now. Thank you, but I really appreciate the offer. Valerie, thanks for jumping in. I'm a little distracted because, as I mentioned, when I came home this evening, husband told me there was a leak, and so we have the fans going in the background. So that's that noise you might be hearing. But let's jump into why I'm so focused on high protein. With the research that I'm doing, it's showing that one, it helps with the fat burning. It helps burn fat, to be honest with you. It helps with the repairing the muscles. It helps with getting me to that state where I could see the abs quickly. And more importantly, for me, the food just tastes better if I'm able to figure out what my proteins are. And that's been the hardest thing. High protein really means that you got to figure out what exactly you're doing to add to the meal to make sure it's high protein. Now, for me, I've been trying to get to 35 to 40 grams of protein in each meal, and I'm going to show you how you could do this with waffles. Yes, waffles. So we're going to jump in, and if you have questions about it, let me know. CRP, you got the proteins? I bet. I stopped at the supermarket to get some stuff. Some of this stuff you may have already in your home, but I wanted to make sure I had everything here. So we are going to start this meal off with, we're going to be using some oat flour, okay? Oat flour. And so I'm going to pull out the things that we're going to use for this because we're going to mix it and it's going to be a quick meal, obviously. I'm also going to be using, to make some eggs, which I'm going to use mushrooms with it. So if you don't like mushrooms, it's definitely not going to be a thing, but I'm going to add the protein, some more protein with my eggs as well. So we're gonna have protein waffles with eggs and mushrooms for dinner tonight. And of course, I'm gonna leave some over to bring to work tomorrow for breakfast. If you make a big batch of these waffles, you can freeze them and then reheat them whenever you need it. Okay. Thanks, Jessica, for that beautiful compliment. Your boy Coco. Thank you, John Burke. Welcome back. Your boy Coco, of course, thank you for coming back. All right. So I'm going to use some oat milk. We're going to use oat flour. I've never had oat milk before. So if you have, let me know. This one says extra creamy. I like my waffles nice and fluffy. So I figured this might add to that. And then we're going to use oat flour. I'm not going to use any protein powder in my mix, but I'm going to get a couple of things that we are going to need in here. And the one thing that I'm definitely going to be using is my, let's see, some cottage cheese. Okay, we're going to do cottage cheese in there. I know that's, for some people, like, ew, cottage cheese in waffles, like, ew. But we have been doing this, right? You guys understand, like, when you mix cottage cheese with other things, it takes on the flavor. You don't taste the cottage cheese by itself, which is fantastic. So that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to add cottage cheese into that mix. And we may add we can add some yogurt as well, just to boost the percentage of protein in there. May not do a lot, but we're going to do that. We're also going to need eggs. Eggs is definitely going to give us that protein because I'm trying to hit 35 grams of protein just in the waffles alone. And I think I can get there. Okay, so we're going to get some eggs and we're going to use some, actually, I'm just going to use egg whites to do that. So we're going to have some egg whites in doing that. And what else? I want to get some vanilla extract just to give some taste. And anything else that I'm missing? I think that's it. Oh, some baking powder just to make sure that it it does its thing in there. So I'm heading to the pantry and so I'm going to get some, hopefully I have baking powder. Yes, we have baking powder here and we have some vanilla extract. Or is this pure vanilla? This might be actually natural vanilla. That's for some seeds, some taste. And I think that's what we got. Okay. If you have honey and you want to add that in there, that could work too. You're going to mix your dry, I don't really like the taste of oat milk. I like cow's milk. Okay, yeah, it's an opinion, I guess. I'm going to see. I've never had oat milk before, so we're going to see how it tastes. But how does it play with all the other ingredients? So here are the ingredients that I'm going to be using. Okay, and then, of course, the star of the show is this oat flour. You don't have to use all of these things, right? Like, I think you can make waffles just with this, your cottage cheese, and some eggs, and I think you'll be fine. But I want to try it. I want to have a very luxurious, like one that you would pay $20-something for brunch. I want to make it like that. So I'm going to get a big pan. I'm going to get 2 mixing bowls, one for the dry ingredients and one for the wet ingredients. And that's all we need to get this going. And then if you have your waffle maker, that's all you're going to need. Like, this is going to come together so quickly, it's ridiculous. Okay? All right. Now, because I've never made this before, I don't even know what the measurements would be. So we're going to be testing this in the kitchen with me. So I'm going to start with 1 cup. Okay, 1 cup. So this is a half cup. So I'm going to start with 1 cup. I'm going to mix all the stuff, all the dry ingredients in one, and then all the wet ingredients. I'm going to start with my dry ingredients. Bailey collects. Thank you for joining. Welcome back. Love to have you as usual. We're making high protein waffles for dinner and, of course, keeping some for breakfast the next day. And so, of course, because we do bougie on this channel, I'm going to go all in and make it a very bougie meal. Okay, so this is a half cup measuring, so I'm doing 1 cup. Okay, and then the only other thing I have in the dry ingredients then is the baking powder. Okay, I like waffles, but put strawberries. I got you, Bailey. I have strawberries for sure. Girl, you know I got you. All right, let me get a spoon. It's a 1/4 teaspoon. And I am not a baker, so when it comes to measurements and stuff, because I cook mostly, I just kind of throw things together. My daughter is the baker in the house, so I never know like how much am I using. So this is 1 teaspoon. Let's go with it. Let's go with it. I'm figuring I don't need that much, but it looks like a lot. This looks like a lot of bacon. But it says it's 1 teaspoon, not a tablespoon. So I'm putting it in there. And I'm actually going to add a pinch of salt. Why not? Just a pinch of salt. And this is literally a pinch, okay? All right. And I'm just going to mix that together. Now it's not a lot yet because I'm testing it, and that's how I do my food. I test it and then I realize like second batch, I'm gonna know what I need to do better. It's already smelled good. As I said, I've never even worked with oat flour before, so it's kind of crazy that I'm doing this whole thing with ingredients that I've never even like worked with or tasted. But we're gonna do this together, and you guys are gonna help me along the way, especially for those who are the bakers watching. Be like, girl, that is not how we do this. Okay, so the dry ingredients are, I'm gonna just set that aside. Now, wet ingredients. And so I'm gonna start with, what I wanna do is probably blend this a little bit, the cottage cheese, so that it's nice and smooth when I pour it into the dry ingredients. So let me get hold on, let me see if I can get my blender. Oh my God, breaking stuff in this kitchen here. Okay. I'm going to get this and see if I could, because I don't want any lumps in my thing. I don't want the cottage cheese lumps. That is not what we're about in this thing. We're doing high protein waffles, and we're going to make it like a 5-star brunch restaurant, okay? And so I'm also going to make some eggs to go along with it. Let me know if you're an egg person with your waffles, or if you're just like chicken and waffles. I'm a drama teacher. Oh, wow. Congratulations on that. I know school is getting ready to start back for everyone. So here I have my little KitchenAid like immerser. I use this when I'm making soups and stuff. And so I'm just going to plug this in. And we're going to hope this works the way I envision it, where it's to get some of the lumpiness out of the cottage cheese. My kids started back school already because they go to a year-round school. So Bailey, I know you're probably excited for the new year. So excited to have them go back. All right, so this is a half cup. I'm just gonna dip. Yeah, that's a half cup. I'm only gonna do a half cup in it because I'm gonna also add, the last bit of yogurt that I have in here, which is not a half cup. It's like a very, very little bit, but I'm gonna need more yogurt because that is not gonna cover it. Let's see, we have some yogurt here, some 2%. Hey, let's see how it goes. Let me know in the comments if any of you have ever made yogurt, not yogurt, but high protein waffles before. I'm trying to get a fluffy consistency, to be honest with you. So we'll see. Okay, So this is about a half cup that I'm adding in here. And so what I've done is mixed half cup of cottage cheese, half cup of yogurt in here. And so that's what it looks like. I'm sorry, I'm on a new tripod. My tripod broke right as I started setting up. Everything that can go wrong today to go live has been going wrong. So I'm just a little frazzled, but I'm looking forward to this like comfort food so that I could, you know, when I'm finished and I'm eating it in front of the television tonight, I'm gonna be like, this was good. I'm glad I stuck through and didn't like get some kind of crappy food for dinner tonight. Okay. I'm going to put this guy on. And I'm just basically getting I'm just kind of, as you can see, the lumps are going away. That's all I need. Like, I just need it to be smooth so then when I add the rest of the other liquid, it's a very smooth consistency. And that it doesn't, you know, nobody wants to feel like they're eating cottage cheese in their food. And there we go. Okay. Get as much back onto the into the bowl as I can. I've made waffles like I've added stuff to help them add. I've added beef in waffles, huh? And I have seen bacon in waffles, like bacon waffles. I've seen that. I've had that. It's delicious. It's like having, you know, like that savory, sweetened, salty kind of thing going on. Okay, so I'm just set this aside. Okay, and this is now like smooth, right? It doesn't look lumpy like cottage cheese. And now I'm just going to add some other things. I want to add some eggs white because I'm adding proteins to this because this is supposed to be a high protein, trying to get to 35 grams of protein in a serving, which is I'm doing half a cup. I'm just I don't know why I'm measuring what I'm measuring, but it will work out. I feel like if you cook, you cook, and it will work out. Okay, and that's half a cup. Then I'm going to do some vanilla. This is some pure vanilla that I got, so it's very concentrated and it's not an extract. So I'm going to do half a teaspoon of this because I don't need too much. I don't want it to be overpowering, you know, just a little taste. And then we need to add the milk. But I'm going to add the milk just a little bit. And so this is what it looks like. I think I'm going to probably need to add more flour, but I could always add more flour once we incorporate this into the dry mixture. Okay, remember your dry mixture has your flour. We are using oat flour, and we are using oat flour today, and we're using some baking powder in there. That was the dry and a pinch of salt. That's what I did. I do use coconut milk. I haven't had that in like forever, but I use it mostly when I'm cooking, not necessarily like to drink it by itself. So we'll see. Okay. Also, this says, I've never had this, but it says extra creamy, and I was like, why not? It's probably going to give that extra fluffiness that I'm looking at. I'm only doing a half a cup. Well, this is a half, so it's a quarter cup. Okay, half of a half. Okay. And it smells like I could bake it. It smells delicious. Did I miss anything? No. So I'm moving everything out of the way. This is very quick, right? Like, this is a quick meal. We don't want to be fussing over this all day. And so I'm now going to add a little bit at a time into the mixture. And I'm going to get a whisk so I can get that incorporated really nicely. Okay. I'm gonna add some more. So this is what I call my first batch. And then once I figure out what my batch is missing, my second batch should be quick, simple, easy, and I could replicate it moving forward. As I said, this is the first time I'm making this, so I'm gonna pour it all in there to get that nice creamy consistency. Just put this on the side. And I only used, what I use is 1 cup of flour to get this. But it's obviously too, I need more liquid, unless I don't. Actually, maybe I don't. What are you guys thinking? It smells delicious. It smells like a cake. And I don't know if that's the vanilla talking or, you know, but I want it to be a little more, creamier. So I'm going to add a little bit of the milk because that's the easiest thing for me to pour in here. And this is oat milk, but you can use, you know, I'm trying to keep the calorie count low and the protein count high. Okay? So that's why I went this way. And look at that. It does smell, it smells heavenly. So I'm feeling like, if it smells heavenly, how could it not taste heavenly? And this is dinner. We're having breakfast for dinner. One thing I'm seeing is that I could have mixed my, the cottage cheese in a little more. And I'm gonna see if it will work if I still go in now and still, I can do that a little more. Because I'm still seeing some types of, like, you know, cottage cheese turn. But this guy is doing the job for me quicker and making that smooth consistency. If you don't have oat flour, you can just put in a blender some oats and blend it until it comes to that consistency. I'm being lazy today. I've had a long day, and so I didn't feel like doing the extra step. Okay, this is exactly what I was looking for. Okay, now we're talking. Okay, so remember the protein in here, okay? We have cottage cheese, we have yogurt, and then we have the oat flour. Okay, so let me tell you what I'm getting here. 120 calories, and you get 4 grams of protein when you do it like that. So just keeping count of all the protein. If you wanted to add some protein powder, I'm sure you can, but I'm not going to do the most today. But look at how this is. Bailey, I don't ban them, but they won't come in because they don't want to be on camera at all. So they normally stay out on their own if they know I'm doing a stream. Okay. But they're not banned. My daughter was just here a couple of seconds ago, actually. Okay. So we are ready for this to get in there. Okay. It looks really good. It smells great. I'm going to give some credit probably to the fact that it is the vanilla is just beautiful, but don't overdo the vanilla because you don't want that to be the only thing you're tasting. Okay. All right. So I got all that stuff in there, and I like this consistency, you know? I like that consistency. So let me pull out my waffle maker, which I probably should have done from the beginning. my waffle maker? Oh, here it is. Okay, so we have a very singular waffle maker, the circle ones. Don't think it matters if it's circle or square. So I'm gonna bring this here and I'm gonna bring you guys with me to the station. Okay, let's see which is best. There we go. Let me turn on the light underneath there. Good. All right, so as I said, we're making protein waffles today, and then we're going to add that with some eggs and wild mushroom. Chef's kiss. But it's a quick meal that you can use for dinner, as we're going to do, and we're going to use it for breakfast. So I'm going to spray this with some spray, just so we don't get any sticking. And then we're going to turn this. I like my waffles like close to dark, but however you like your waffles. The whole point is the batter. Everything else is just how you like that. While that's heating up though, I'm going to start the bowl with the eggs, and I'm about to put some more protein in it because yes, you guessed that right. I'm trying to hit 50 grams of protein. And this is, remember, my breakfast and my dinner tomorrow, dinner tonight and breakfast tomorrow. So I'm gonna get a bowl, and you guys already, if you've been following me, you know the trick on how you can get as much proteins in the eggs, because you're gonna need like 5 eggs to get a 30 grams of protein. Nobody's eating 5 eggs. So what I normally do is I'm gonna do about 2 to 3, since it's a lot of us tonight, 3 eggs, and then I'm going to add egg whites. And we already had the egg whites, so you get to use the same thing, use up a lot of your pieces there. So I'm gonna grab 3 eggs, and I'm actually gonna do 4 eggs because remember I'm taking this for for breakfast tomorrow, so might as well do that. Here's a trick when you are making your eggs and you're cracking your eggs. Crack it on a flat surface so that you don't get the eggs that, when you do it when you do it on the bowl, at the edge of the bowl, it ends up shattering and giving you not splinters, but little pieces fall in there. So I always try to crack on a flat surface. Obviously, sometimes you can't. But I normally don't get any splinters in there when I do it that way. This is the waffle pan is heating up. I want it piping hot so that when we go in, it goes in. Okay, and you can get so much done in the meanwhile while things are heating up. That's why, for me, cooking a quick meal really is pretty easy, and it could be luxe as well. So you're not getting something that I threw together at the last minute. And then I'm gonna top this off with egg whites, as I said, and I'm just gonna pour a little bit in. You don't have to measure everything, okay? All right, let's see how this guy is looking. Woo! There goes that fire. So let me see. You guys can see that? Okay. That sizzle is already going. Obviously, I'm gonna have to make another batch because this is not going to be enough for 4 people plus the breakfast tomorrow. But the first batch is, what do I like? What do I not like? Or did I kill it on the first try, which has happened before, And I've always tried to get these waffles to be so perfect. I have no idea what the thing is, but I never get the perfect circle. I feel like the square is easier to work with, but And so that's how we flip that, and we're gonna wait a little bit to see how that works. And while that's happening, we're going to mix this guy up. I'm gonna wash my whisk out. And I'm just going to get that in here. So you guys see what I'm doing. As I said, the name of the game is high protein all the way. So I'm gonna add cottage cheese to this. I have been loving adding just the cottage cheese just because it has definitely been making the eggs even more fluffier. And I never would have thought that before until I started doing that. And I was like, what? So now I get the cottage cheese. It doesn't taste it. You don't taste it in the egg at all. And it gets the egg so fluffy that I'm now addicted to it. Like, I feel like when I go to the restaurants, I need to ask them, like, can you put some cottage cheese in there? And then I'm just whisking this. And I'll set this aside while we come back to our waffle. This thing cooks really quickly. Ooh, baby, baby. I'm gonna give it a little more color. Did y'all see that? Did you see that? Oh my goodness. Okay, so the eggs have egg whites. There are 4 eggs in here, 4 whole eggs, and then I added the egg whites, more protein, and then I added cottage cheese, more protein. I should be able to top out this meal alone at 50 grams probably of protein. And so that ensures that I'm getting 50 grams of protein in the meal tonight for dinner, and I'm gonna get it again for breakfast. So I am on a roll here. I'm not gonna season this yet. I'm just gonna put this aside, and then we're gonna look at this waffle one more. I want y'all to see the work that we did, guys. We gotta see the work that we did. So I'm gonna open this for you. Now this is a thing of beauty. So I'm going to take this out. All right. Yes. Look how beautiful this looks. Look how beautiful. And it rose, so it's, you know, it got some height to it. I was afraid that I won't get some depth. So loving that. Set that aside. We're gonna do another one. And I swear, I try so hard to get that full perfect circle and never get it. Ugh. So I'm gonna try it again. Okay, here we go. This is the batter we made. It smells so delicious. And this is a high protein waffle, so, and low carb. I used oat flour, so I am definitely not going to feel guilty having 3 of these if I have to, because low carb and high protein wins every time. Wins every time. I don't know what's going on with my dog. Okay, let's see if we could get a circle here. Unless, do I have to cover every piece? Do you think that's the issue? I'm not covering to the edge. I always don't, because I don't want it to like leak out. I feel like there is a hack to this, and I have just never hacked it. But that's okay. We're going to turn, and then we're going to go there. Okay. Now, waffles are going, eggs are ready. But I'm gonna do one more thing. We said it's gonna be a wild mushroom kind of day. So let me get the mushrooms and let me show you how quick and simple it is to make these mushrooms. I'm actually gonna leave you here because I got a whole bunch of stuff on that side. But let me grab the mushrooms because I've been trying to get to make these mushrooms for a while now. And I think I need to get to do it or else I will lose out on it. All right, what do we have? Go to my fridge. So I have a little bit of portobello mushrooms and then some shiitake mushrooms. I call them wild mushroom because there's two. But you can use whatever you want. Here's how I'm going to make this. I am going to cut up some onions because sauteed onions is, oh, definitely a thing. Sauteed mushrooms. But you got to saute it in something to bring out that flavor. And so I'm going to use my Miyabi knife. Bailey is, she says, slay. Thank you. I hope that was for me. All right, let's get the onions, the garlic going here. And while we're doing that, remember your pancakes are going in the meanwhile so that, you know, you're not sitting back and just waiting. And I'm just going to crush up some. And I'm just going to slice these, but not chop these up. And here's why. I'm just flavoring the oil for the mushroom. I'm telling y'all, we're doing Lux. We're doing, you know, we're doing Lux on a budget at home. Things that normally people would pay a lot of money for. We're going to do a garlic infused oil to saute the mushrooms. And that's how we're about to make this meal feel as though we are in a 5-star Four Seasons restaurant, which they would charge you a lot for. So I'm just going to slice them. And this knife, if you've been following me lately, you know I got this knife in Japan, and it's perfect for things like this. It's just, I don't know how I lived so long without having what you would consider a chef's knife. Okay, so you see how that is. It's not really chopped up, very minced per se. Let me get this out of the way and let's check on our pancakes. We don't want to burn those. All right, bring this back so you guys can obviously see. I'm going to turn this around. Oh my goodness. I'm getting better. I am getting better at this. Okay. I am definitely getting better at it. Okay. And so we're going to take this off. Wow, this is beautiful. Okay. Look at that. Okay. Look at this. All right, I want to try not to put them on crowded on top of each other because that's going to make the pancakes mushy. So I'm going to get another plate, just because the heat is going to kind of steam them, and I don't want that to happen. So I'm going to put one on its own plate, and there we go, and there we go. Okay, let's finish this breakfast/dinner in seconds. I'm going to grab a pot. And I'm going to bring you over here with me so you can see the finishing touches here. Okay. So let me see. Actually, I'm going to make a smaller pot. Don't need such a big pot. Do not need such a big pot. So we're going to go with this guy. Get that heated up. And while that's heating up, let's chat. So, what do you think about the waffles? I haven't tasted it yet, but I will. I want to put, like, I want to do some extras to it. So, while that's heating up, I'm going to do something here because we're doing Lux on a budget. It doesn't mean that we don't get to enjoy all the other things that come with it. And of course, when you go to a restaurant, what's the first thing that when you get your waffles, you're going to get on there? What are you going to get there? Because that is something that, we eat with our eyes, right? We eat with our eyes. And so we're going to want to make sure that we are adding the things that make this look amazing. And so I'm going to move this aside. I'm going to rinse my knife so I don't have that garlic taste on the knife anymore. So I'm going to just wash that out because nobody wants a garlic fruit. We're not there in that territory yet. And my pot is heating up. I just want it to be nice and hot before I get the thing in there. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to make sure this is doing this. I'm going to cut some fruit. Hey, it doesn't say that just because you're not ordering out, you don't have to have your food look the way you would order it, okay? And I love doing this at home for myself, for my family, for my guests when they come and I'm cooking for them. So we want to make sure that we are also treating ourselves the way we would be if we were paying a lot of money for our stuff. I'm going to get the one that looks nicer. So I'm going to get my one, the one that looks like a circle. And I'm going to put some strawberries on there. And some blueberries. And we need something to drizzle on here, no? We need something to drizzle on this. But we'll come back. We'll come back to this. We'll come back to this. Yes, you got to do it, Joni. I mean, I'm going to treat myself the way I want to be treated and the way I want others to treat me, right? So let's get back to that egg. I'm sorry, the mushroom right now. I'm just pouring a little bit of, actually a little generous amount of olive oil. And remember I said we are going to be doing a garlic infused oil for the mushroom. So we're just going to put that in there. And then we don't want it to burn. So we're just going to lower the fire a little bit. Ooh, I'm already getting it burning. Off the heat if you find that it's going to get, if it's burning. Because I don't want it to burn. Burnt garlic tastes like crap. Just putting that out there. It is not a good taste. Does not taste good. So I'm just getting that, shaking that in there. Yes, it is. It is so good. It is so good. So what I'm going to do, I should have done this a longer time, like had this simmering and stuff like that. We don't got time. In fact, I feel like my thing is about, if you guys hear the background, please bear with me. I have to change out my battery. My phone, my thing is dying. So you're here with me live. I am not going to end up taking that out. So what I'm going to do, sorry, my battery is dying on my phone, so I need to change out. So what we're doing is just adding, and I'll show you in a few seconds. We're adding the mushroom. And this is normally, if I was going to do an infused oil, I would take out the garlic, but I didn't have the garlic simmering in there too long and it was burning. So I'm just gonna, it's gonna come in together. It looks like a lot, but you remember when you, garlic is gonna release water, and so it's gonna come down dramatically. And then we'll be able to have this as a separate piece to go along with our beautiful plate. This is our side. You know, when you go to the restaurant, you're like, can I have a side of? This is our sides. Our sides are the garlic infused mushroom and our protein packed eggs. I promise you will not be able to order that at the at the restaurant for any little bit of money. Okay. Joni, I am in California. I am in California, in San Diego. All right, while that is cooking, I want to, where's, you're walking with me because right before I started, like everything that could go wrong started going wrong. My tripod broke, and I was like, you know what, I'm cooking this waffles tonight, and somebody gonna see it. Somebody's gonna see it. All right, I'm gonna add some salt, of course, season it a little bit. And we're gonna have some black pepper. Oops, it's a little extra. It's all good. It's a lot of mushrooms, so. It is 7:26 over here still with me. Okay. 7:26 p.m. So yes, still early. Dinner is at 8 o'clock. What I will have to do, I want to taste obviously the waffles to see if it works well, and then duplicate the measurements, which I think I remembered. I had 1 cup of oatmeal flour, half cup of cottage cheese, half cup of what was that? Of yogurt, a half cup of oat milk, half a teaspoon, or less than half a teaspoon, probably half a teaspoon of vanilla, or if you have extract. And then what else we had? Oh, and a half a teaspoon of baking powder. So if anybody is watching that, they know how to do it. East Coast, yes, definitely on that side of the, yeah, 10:26 in the night. Yes, you probably won't be cooking dinner right now, but hopefully it's an idea that you get right now so that tomorrow you're like, okay, I know what I'm making for dinner or breakfast. Okay, this looks and smells amazing, and I'm going to just take this, I'm going to keep it in this pot just because I have all these things going on, and I just need a small pan. I'm going to use this pan for my eggs. Remember, the eggs are going to be really nice and fluffy. You can mix them in together with your mushrooms, but I'm going to do them on the side if my stove will light. Lately it's been the pilot has definitely been giving some problems. And then the minute you think it's not working, it turns on. I'm not sure what's going on. Let's try the other side. You see how everything can go wrong in one like minute? Like I'm not doing anything to this pot and all of a sudden it doesn't want to go on. All right, let's see if we have some butter to, I don't like cooking my eggs in, I just don't like cooking it in, what's the word? In oil. Let me know if you're someone who cooks with oil for your eggs. I like doing the butter. Obviously not a lot, but, and it's really so that the eggs don't stick, not necessarily for flavoring. I just don't like the taste of the egg oil for eggs. Let me know. It's Murphy's Law, yeah. It really is. I mean, why else is everything breaking? As I said, if you're hearing this loud noise that sounds like I'm in the back of a I don't even know what it's probably sounding like on your side, but we had a leak in our kitchen, and right now we have, you know, the fans going to dry it out so that so that there's no mold and stuff. So that happened today. I come home and as I'm getting ready to go live, I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna do it. The tripod broke, so it's one of those things. It's one of those days that you're just like, you know what, it is what it is. This is life, and you know you're seeing it happen just in front here. All right. Remember we have our eggs sitting here, and it has the cottage cheese. I'm just heating up the pot a little bit. We have our mushrooms on the side. As I said, it's like going to a restaurant and asking for a side of mushrooms with a side of protein eggs, but you normally won't get that, okay? You will get some eggs and mushrooms. I'm not a doctor. I'm a Juris Doctorate. I have a Juris Doctorate. I'm a lawyer. So here we go. I'm doing all of this with one hand, by the way. So it's also not the best way of showing you how to do this, but don't worry about the cottage cheese that you're seeing. I promise you, you won't taste it. Don't worry about it. It will be fine. Just getting a spatula. Look how beautiful that is already forming. Like, to me, I have never had my eggs do that before. I really think it is the cottage cheese. I really think it's the cottage cheese. And what I'm going to add a little bit of cheddar cheese just to give that extra taste. But look at that. Damien. Hey, what's going on, Damien? On the menu tonight is high protein waffles, which we've made. Let me get rid of the garbage. I was just telling everyone today that everything is breaking down around me, but this is a high protein waffle. And Damien, what you could do is help me get the exact protein number. So what I did, I used oat flour, I used oat milk, I used cottage cheese, and I used yogurt. And then flavored it a little bit with some vanilla. I had a little bit of salt in there. And then we also had, what else? That was it. Oh, and eggs, of course. And there was eggs in there. I used egg whites. I used about half a cup of egg whites. So Damien, who's amazing with letting us know how we are doing with our protein in each meal, if you can add that up. And then on the side, I'm having some mushrooms, wild mushrooms, and then this egg that has the egg has the cottage cheese in it as well. And then that would be our side. We're making breakfast for dinner, and that I was hoping to hit about 50 grams of protein in this one. How close did I come? Or not at all? All right, so I have some cheddar cheese here that I'm going to add. I'm sorry I'm using my hand because my camera also is about to die. So if I just end completely, know that it was Murphy's Law, as they're saying. And so what I just added in there was a little bit of cheddar cheese. Look how, can you see how fluffy these eggs are looking? Like, look at this. This is just amazing. The texture, I mean, I've always tried to figure out how can I get my eggs fluffy? And I can't believe all along it was just add cottage cheese, which is so good for me and it hits my protein. Like, are you kidding me? Like, someone can tell us this before. Just put a little bit of black pepper there. Okay. Wow. Look at this. Can you repeat? Okay. So for the protein waffles, it was 1 cup of oat flour. It was of half cup of cottage cheese, half cup of yogurt, obviously Greek yogurt, half a teaspoon of vanilla extract, half a cup, but a half a cup of oat milk, and half a cup of egg white. That was what's in there. And then in our eggs, we had 4 eggs and probably a cup of egg whites. 4 whole eggs and a cup of egg whites. This looks very good. Very good. I do have one more thing I want to add to my yolk. Let's see. All right, I'm just going to add one more thing if I can get somewhere to stand you up. Okay. Bananas. Gotta add the bananas to here. And if you have some sugar-free syrup, this would be perfect for the drizzle. And I do think we have sugar-free. My husband is diabetic, so he may have some in there. Okay, plating is just something that I'm like obsessed with. I'm just gonna take a little bit of behind you is my herbs, so I'm just cutting up a little bit of, and I'm just gonna put that over my I'm just sorry, I know I don't have a mic. I'm putting this herbs over the okay. These look so good. The eggs look so amazing. Look at this. Good night, Mercy. If I had eat one type of food, what would it be? Like a type? What do you mean a type? Like, explain for me when you say a type. You see what I'm talking about? So you guys are coming in with me everywhere today because, as I said, I don't have this. Okay. Sugar-free syrup. Yeah. We have some. Cena, say hello. Okay. Oh, I think my favorite, honestly, would be Italian. If I had to get only one food. Oops, sorry. If I could only do one thing. 30 grams per serving for the pancakes. Okay, what about the eggs? Am I getting to... All right, so this is the one we're using. This is a sugar-free maple syrup. And I'm just going to pour a little bit Okay, and so that's what this would look like. I'm not gonna lie, this looks amazing. Like, this looks amazing. So 32 grams of protein per serving. You have your berries, very little calories in there, and the bananas, and then a sugar-free syrup, so you're not adding extra calories. And let's get the rest of this meal on a plate. Let's get the rest of this meal on a plate because this is what we're going to finish this off. All right. So we have that. Chef's up. Let's get a plate. And then here is your sides. What do you guys think? So you have 32 grams of protein per serving for the for the waffles. And then your sides with some eggs and some wild mushrooms. A full meal, you'll feel great. Best of all, once you eat this, you're not gonna feel hungry again. You're not gonna want to go out and eat more. And on top of it, I would consider this super guilt-free eating. Okay? But let's taste the pancakes though, because at the end of the day, if they taste like trash, it's still trash. So let me grab a fork and a knife. Pray for me, y'all, because, as I said, this is the first time I'm making this. So let's see. All right. So I like my pancakes definitely fluffy, and so let's see if this came through like that. All right, there we go. I'm not lying to you. I promise you I'm not lying. This is better than this is better than a lot of places that I go. It's fluffy and light and airy. The mix of the berries gives it that sweetness that the reason we like pancakes, but guilt-free. I have the sugar-free syrup on here. I could take it off if I wanted to, because the berries and the fruit is doing everything. It's large eggs that we use. Yo, boy, what do you know? What do you not know? Oh, way too many carbs. Sandra, what carbs are there? It's oat flour, so it wasn't regular flour. But what carbs are you seeing? It's an incomplete protein. I have the eggs here. So can you explain a little more, like what would be, we're learning here. What would be the incomplete protein in it? I'm literally eating my dinner in front of y'all, but this is so good. Because the carbs would be the flour, right? But it's oat flour. Let's see. This is what we use. Oh, 120 calories. Now, remember, if you're eating this, you don't need more, right? Like, I don't even know if I'm going to be able to eat all of this and this, because it's a lot. Wow, it tastes amazing. It absolutely tastes amazing. I'm going to leave the recipe in the description if anybody wants to try it at home. I promise you, You won't regret it. And you can make a lot of these and just freeze them, so you don't have to keep making them. All I saw was the pancakes. Did not see the. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. These are eggs. The eggs had cottage cheese and cheddar cheese in them, and these are mushrooms with them. Those are my sides today. I just did feel like eating a meat tonight, so I figured I'll still get my proteins in another way, you know? Thank you, Catherine. I appreciate that. But y'all have to try this. How much over the 50-gram protein go? Well, Damien, that's a bit over the... Ooh, man. 50 grams of protein in the pancakes. I mean, waffles. Obviously, you can make pancakes with this. You don't have a waffle maker. It's the same thing. Like, just put it on a griddle. And the eggs. So this is great. 50 grams. I'm working out big tomorrow morning, so I'm going to be happy to come back and have this as my breakfast in the morning. Yes, sometimes we eat breakfast for dinner in America. Yes, sometimes we do eat breakfast. You can eat it whenever you want. And so tonight we're having breakfast for dinner. Okay, I gotta stop eating. It was really, really good. Yep, upside down there. I like that. This is really good. Try it, definitely. He said, but considering you added fruit to it as well, that's about 55 grams max. Okay. Jeez, thank you so much for that, Damien. Another meal, 50 grams. Another one. We can do this, and it tastes delicious, and we don't have to eat the same thing over and over. So join me tomorrow. We'll see about my background and all that extra stuff. I'm hoping I'll get another camera, tripod, but not sure yet what I'm cooking tomorrow. If you have any ideas, let me know. But I'm going to go finish this breakfast, pack my breakfast for tomorrow, and enjoy the rest of the evening. All right. The mushrooms are the detox for the body. Yes. Oh my gosh. Thanks for putting that in there. Pin that comment. Okay. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining me and participating. And I'll see you tomorrow, 6:30, same time, same place. Have a wonderful evening.